Hi everyone, welcome back to Satisfactory, and I start this here episode on a situation that I wanted to test out before we actually implemented it in, and you might have already guessed what's happening here. So for those that don't know, we have two stations here, or two tracks coming out, merge into one track here, then split out to another two tracks and go to another two stations. And my question was, I wanted to test this here out. Are trains able to crisscross between this single platform or the single track without deadlocking each other? And the answer to that question is yes, they do, and I'm going to demonstrate that here now. So I'm going to get this one here to go. I've already set these here up and I've already tested it, and we'll just see it in action here. So we're just going to this one and do the same thing. Turn it on, self-driving. So what happens is we have to put 4 signals down. So where it comes merging, then we have to put the 4 signals down. So first off, let me see, we go to transport. We have to put down 4 path signals, and then we have to put in 4 block signals. So the path signals go out, and let me see now. I need to actually get this here up. So that is a block signal, and that there is a path signal. So path signals are for whatever direction the train's going. So if it's going this way, you put it on the right. Block signals go whenever it comes out of the junction, so that's just to acknowledge that the train has left. It's all clear here, and that's where this here that block signal is sitting there, and there's X. That means that it's being occupied by that train. This here is shown as X because there's a train occupying the junction, and it should go green here whenever it clears it. There it goes. So that means then that there's now both of them there are occupied. That's red, seeing that it's occupied the middle of the junction. Should go green in a second once it passes that block. That's weird. I think I might have spotted an issue. I wonder if it'll go green here now whenever that passes out through it. I think it might automatically go if there's a train coming in the opposite direction. But yeah, no, the system works quite well as expected, but yeah, I think it works well. The reason I am testing this here system out is because we'll actually be implementing this over by the tunnel that I was showing a few episodes ago. So that is this tunnel over here. So this is where you come down here, and that's where it goes into that tunnel, spirals around, and you end up on top of here. So the reason why I want to test this thing out is we'll probably get a maximum of 2 tracks along there. Originally we were going to have 4 tracks, that come along here and go up here, so we have 4 tracks that come all the way around, and then they split off. So one will come around to here, a second one will go to the copper, a third one will go here to nitrogen gas, and the fourth one will go to the limestone. Now the issue is, as you had seen, parts of the tunnel were very narrow to the point that you would just get 2 trains and never mind 3, and 4 definitely not. So the reason I am testing this here out is because we will have 2 tracks. So the 2 tracks will actually run in the tunnel, just in the tunnel alone, where you'll have the 2 tracks, and then what will happen is one track will split 2 here, and the other track will split 2 here, which will flow all the way up here. And the reason why I'm splitting the tracks into 4 here is because what will happen is whenever a train is occupying this here, it means that if there's one train sitting there waiting to use this here line, it has to wait until the train has cleared it. So that's why you want to keep the 2 lines to an absolute minimum. I want to keep them 2 lines just running along here. And up here, again, that's where it's going to split into 4, so the 4 tracks will flow along to different things here. Now, some of you might think, oh, why don't you just use the 1 track going here and have a station here and continue the track going along here? That is an issue that I've picked up on forums and on the wiki as well. Having 2 trains running along here, so say for example you have one train that's running here and stops here, and then the train behind it is on the same track and is looking to go here. What happens is this train is now sitting here, it's waiting for this one here to clear, but this one can't go back the ways because there's a train sitting here, so you have an issue, and the game isn't smart enough, or we don't have any smart laybys in play yet. And a layby would be, for example, say you have a single track here, it splits into 2 tracks, and allows one train to wait in this lane while the other one, no, like allows the train to come back this way. There is a way to do it. You have to do it through train stations, but it's just not practical, so that's why we're going to be doing it that way. Now, they're all running away there. I'm actually going to stop these here because they do consume quite a lot of energy, which brings us on to our other issue. I'm just going to wait for this here to stop in the train station first before I do anything else here. There we are. And then I'm going to wait for this one to stop in here. I'm just going to dismantle this. This was only just to show and test, really. But we'll dismantle this here once this pulls in. But you can see there's the, like, it's consuming 27.5 and it's not even doing anything. It's like, see the way there, it's sitting there doing nothing. 25 megawatts, and when it's going, it's consuming 100. Which is something I didn't think about whenever these here stations are going. And I'm pretty sure each one of these stations consumes a small bit as well. Can't remember exactly. So, that brings us, as I say, on to our next issue. So, with all these trains going, this actually, testing this here system out just with 2 trains actually tripped the whole system where it overconsumed. Let me see if I can get a pole here to see it, where you can see the spikes. So look at this here, look at the blue line. 5,157 megawatts, that's 5 gigawatts. And at the minute we are only doing a production of 1.168 gigawatts. Pretty much in a nutshell, we are consuming 1/5 than what's needed. So we need 5 times what we currently have. So we need pretty much that plus the generator down at the oil times 5 to keep up with the consumption. And it's only going to get worse. These are only like, there's only, was it 1, 2, 4 stations and 2 trains. That's just enough to get to just 2 ores. We need that again to get the other 2 ores that are over in that direction. And we haven't even gone as far as doing the nuclear option yet. So I think what we need to do over the next few episodes is expedite fuel production. And what I mean by that is, yes, coal generators are good, but petrol is better, or gasoline, or whatever those generators run off, is a lot better. So I think we need to expedite our fuel capabilities. So that means having to extend this here foundation out this way, and then start processing the oil, and then the oil will be processed to make your rubber, your plastic, your polymer resin, and your gunpowder, etc, etc, etc. And then your byproduct, which is usually your heavy fuel option, that's going to be refined to make your fuel. So I need to actually sit down and plan it on paper. I feel like that would be the easiest way to do it. What's this? I didn't even know it had that on the side of it. Never even noticed that before. Is that a new thing? Did it always have this? But anyway, fuel, yes, so refining oil is our next step. It would be nice to get the other stuff. So what I mean by that is, it would be nice to get things like the limestone, nitrogen gas, the copper over here, and the bauxite up here. Oh, where is the bauxite? Why can't I see that? Bauxite, there it is there. It would be nice to get that. Now, things like nitrogen gas, we don't actually need that right now. Nitrogen gas isn't needed right now because that's needed for, that will be needed for nuclear, but we're not going to be doing nuclear just yet. I know that's, to some people, it would be like a no-brainer. Why don't you do nuclear? That'd be a good way to get power. It is, but we're not ready for it yet because I want to get everything set up first. That looks like a loading icon. It's kind of funny looking. Where is that, by the way? How did we not see that? Oh, it's beside the limestone. So, priority-wise, well, we have iron. We do need copper. We do need limestone and bauxite for aluminium, but we can't do bauxite until we set up the plant for it. So it's a bit like the which do you do first kind of scenario. So we do need limestone. I think that's going to be one priority. So we will build the 2 lines going in through the tunnel. Where's that tunnel? Here. So we will build those 2 lines first. and then split them out, and then I'll take the furthest line here, or sorry, the second line from the left. So the first line will go here, second line will go here, third line will go here, and the fourth line will go around to here, so that way it's nice and spread out. Up here is going to be pure hell because of all the enemies that we've seen up around this here area, so I'd say there's going to be a lot of dying up around here. This here is going to be relatively easy. It's not that bad. It's quite a lot of gentle slope down there as well as here, so that's not going to be too bad. And the bauxite, it's just going to be more tedious because we have to take the train all the way over to here and curl it around and follow this lake the whole way. Oh, that scared me there for a second. I didn't know what that was first. And then take the train along this here sort of ground, and then curl it inside and back down the tunnel. So yeah, quite a lot to do. And then water as well. We'll just take it from the water source and just pump it over to here. We're not going to bother with a wagon with that because the water source is just sitting, if we can see it, probably just sitting just over there, and I think piping it would be just as easy. We might get a train eventually, but the only thing we'll be using the water for is for the nuclear. Now I am sort of 50-50 between, I know I did mention this in the last few episodes, I was 50-50 between where to put the nuclear facility, and I was thinking it would be nice to have it on the same foundation as this, maybe tucked away over there, but then it needs water, so then I was thinking maybe we should put it over here, and that's over where the oil is, but the thing is, you don't really see it, and to be honest, we probably won't be going over here. Once we get oil taken over on a train, I don't think we'll be over here as much. And I would like to have a nuclear facility somewhere where you can see it, so you can appreciate it. But that means I need to go and actually look up online and see what that does in performance. Is there a maximum limit to how much you build? Now what I mean by that is in Space Engineers you have a PCU limit. And that is pretty much how many items in the game you are allowed to build. In Space Engineers, you can disable that through experimental mode, so pretty much you imagine that you're limited to 1 million items per game. So one foundation consumes like 1 item, a track maybe consumes 2 items, a PCU limits, and a station consumes maybe 20. So you're limited to 1 million, so you can only build so many of each things. I need to check to see if Satisfactory has something like that as well, because if that is the case, we're not going to go too mad on the foundations, and I might try and hide a lot of it out of plain sight. So what I mean by hiding it is, see the way this here's all foundation, what we do is we'll actually just build like a wee wall around this here, and then remove the 4 foundations in it. So take the limit down, but that's something I need to check. It might not be something to worry about, but I've seen it before in games where there is a limit, and Space Engineers is one of them. The other thing as well is there will be 4 tracks coming up along here, and they will be coming up to this level here, so we will be building ramps for the trains to go down and try and get the ramps to come down and meet with that sort of hill that goes down towards the tunnel. But again, that's going to be something I will probably do off camera. I'll just put the 4 lines down, and then the tunnel, I'll do that in another episode. So for the nuclear facility, I think we will put it over there, and if I remember right, there is water here, and as long as we get some water pumped up from here into it, we can put it into storage tanks, but I need to see what the consumption rate is. It would be nice to have a few nuclear facilities, that generate power, and I can't remember how much each facility produces in terms of power, like megawatts. Is it 500 megawatts? Is it a gigawatt? I don't think it's as much as a gigawatt, but I need to look at the wiki for that. But it would be nice to get a few of them built, and then say we build 5, then we work out how much resources we need per per facility and work it backwards. So you start from a top-down method. This is something that you actually do in the real world, especially with designing things like computer IT networks and all that. There is you actually go through an approach called the top-down. So you start off with what do you actually need it for. So for example, if you're building a network for say 200 users in a business, you actually start from the top down. So you get how many users is it needed for, and then you start getting all your different things. How many routers will you need? How many switches will you need per those 200 users, etc., etc. So you actually build it from top down. So in this case, we'll actually build it top down, as in we will need to see how much power we need to supply. So in this case, we've got 5,157 megawatts. If, for example, each nuclear facility produces 500 megawatts, then we know then we need 10, say 11, say 12. You actually add in a percentage, so you round this here up to about, say, maybe 6 megawatts. That means you need 12 nuclear facilities. With 12 nuclear facilities, you need to find out what you need to keep demand for that there. So if it's like each nuclear facility consumes, say, 20 nuclear rods per second, multiply that by 12, that's 240 per second. Sorry, 240 per minute, so you need to be producing 240 per minute. Then you work that backwards. How many of those manufacturers do you need to produce that per minute, etc, etc, etc. You kind of get the idea. It's kind of like the drill. So what you do is you go with the drill method. We go with how fast we can get it to go. In this case, it's doing 120 per minute. But up here, it might only be set to do I don't know. Let's say it consumes 60 per minute up here. Then what we do is we reduce this here to 60 per minute because, well, it doesn't need to be, producing that much per second. But the nuclear facility, you kind of get the idea. It's you just work from top down. You get what demands are needed, and you go it that way. So eventually, we will be using nuclear to generate power. We will keep the coal setup here going, but that will quickly be redundant because of how it's just a drop in the ocean. That there will be a drop in the ocean compared to what the other facilities will be able to do. But it's good to have as a backup. And then the likes of the fuel generator as well. It's a good thing to have as well. We'll have that as a standby. And then that brings us onto priority grids as well, where we prioritize the power between plants. So for example, up here we have water pumps. So naturally enough, water pumps will be priority 1, with 1 being the highest priority with this here. So that means that in the event that this whole network just gets too much and it ends up over consuming, this will trip out before the that network up there does. So it means that the water pumps are still providing water to these here generators until we find a way to get power going to the whole system. So that just allows this here to keep running while this here goes down. Then that brings you on to the second thing. Priority 2 would be like keeping high, high priority stuff, high priority parts such as your metal plates, your metal rods, your steel beams, steel rods, all that there. Steel pipes, all on there will be on priority 2 because you want to make the absolute minimum stuff first. The big things are going to be things that are used in your manufacturers. They're going to be huge consumption, especially if they've got summer sloops in them as well, where they're going to be consuming a mad amount of electricity. So naturally enough, they're going to be on the lowest priority because you want to keep producing the little stuff, because you can't make the big stuff without the little stuff. And in the event that the big stuff overconsumes, it just knocks out the whole network, so you've nothing getting produced. So at a minimum, you want your power station running. Secondary, you want your basic parts getting made. Third thing will be the next stage after that. The fourth stage will be the stage after that, and the fifth stage, which will be the last one, will be the manufactured parts. Things like your drills and all that there, they will probably be on a priority 2 as well, because again, you can't make your basic parts without your drills producing the ores. Train system as well, you can't make the basic parts without your trains. So it's kind of a game of what becomes priority. So you literally have to sit down and think of everything. So think of your power generation your needs, your transportation needs for your items, your production rate, and eventually you have a tiered system in your head. So it's a bit like, if something was to go down, what do you want to still run? Obviously things like your transportation pipes like this, that's going to be a priority 1 or a priority 2, because you're not be able to get between stations without this. So naturally enough, your transportation between is going to be a huge priority. So that's pretty much that explained. I hope I've done that as best as I can. I hope I haven't really waffled on, but I'm hoping everybody gets an idea of what that actually does. But all this here, this is pretty much real world scenario. Everything you see here, this whole priority system, this is real world, especially in the wastewater industry as well, where we have things called MCC, and we have things called a PLC. So a MCC is pretty much what controls your motors and your pumps, your sensors, your measurement equipment on a wastewater site, and your PLC is pretty much the logic behind the controller. And in the real world, you have priority setups. So in the event that the power goes out on a plant, a generator will actually kick in, provide power to the site, and only what do you call it, high priority assets on site run. So that'd be things like your pumps for taking the water into the actual site itself. So things like those pumps will, no, like everybody's going to be flushing the toilet, so naturally you want to keep that water flowing. Now, I've kind of glossed over the point that all wastewater sites have a natural gravity redundant system. So what that means is that whenever water comes into a site, gravity's favoured to take all that sewage from one point to another to different processes, but some pumps are used to actually take the sewage to different parts of the site. And in the event of a power outage or complete blackout where there's no generator, there's no power at all, what will happen is that water will actually make its way into what's known as a storm tank. That storm tank fills up, and when it gets too much, it ends up making its way, unfortunately, out to a river. But ideally you don't want that scenario to happen. And a redundant system will have pumps that takes that water away from these storm tanks and up into the actual into the sewage treatment site itself, and from there it'll gravity feed its way around. Now there is some elements of the sewage treatment site that are pretty much power dependent, and that's things like your aeration tank and your RBCs. I'll not go too in depth, I'm just going way off topic here at the minute, but for those people that are involved in that industry, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But in a nutshell, it's all about priority. Real life scenario, everything you see here is real world in some ways and can be related. I just can't believe I've waffled on about sewage treatment sites, but that is pretty much my my background. I'm a site manager, and my job is just to primarily make sure everybody's adhering to health and safety, but also making sure that everything is running as it should. I must get rid of this. I only built it there for observation, just to have a look. Right, enough waffling on. Let's see what the next thing we want to do is. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another 4 more tracks down. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, and 3, and I think on my sheet I had 11. I have it here beside me. You can hear it just off the camera. So I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines. 11 lines. Okay. So I have 1 line going that way, which means that we'll have 10 coming this way. So we've got 3 here. We'll have another 4 for the items coming up there, so that's 7. What are the other 3 for? What did I put the other 3 for? Let me see. Oh, it's upside down. What was the other 3 for? Oh, 1 was for uranium. 1's for the crude oil. And 1's for water. Right, that's the other 3. So, uranium, crude oil, and water. But they'll be the last 3 going along here. Do we actually have any space to do all this? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no space, 10. Ooh, I thought I did address that. Oh, I thought I did address that issue. Right, so it looks like we're going to have to skip water. Water's definitely not coming up here. So the rest items will flow along here. Now I just want to see if we've got enough room here on this one. We just about do on this one here. So we will have a track coming there. It's going to get very tight along here. I'd say by the time we straighten off, we're just going to be hitting that rock there. Because I want this here slope. Where is it? Foundation. This one here. The 2 meter one. I don't like these 2 here. They're too steep. This one here is just just nice enough to get down. So I think what we'll do is we'll slope it down, but we'll have the tracks sort of skewed off a bit. They come off at a bit of an angle now. Let's see if we can get away with doing that here. So if we were to come straight down but come off at an angle, I'd say we just will. So what's going to happen is, if you imagine we go straight down with the ramps here, then go maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Then we start here and then go down to there and then just follow it down. So they're going to be coming up at a slight angle up this hill. Unless we take this back. And I think we might be able to do that. Now, what was the reason why I didn't connect these to this one here? Oh, wait, no, these are the test ones. No, they have. That's what I've done. So that ramp... Ah, yes. No, we're okay. I can actually take that all the way back to here because it doesn't need to ramp up until... It doesn't need to ramp up until, say, about... Let me see, where's the first station? It needs to ramp up here and then level out. It needs to level out before it turns the corner because I don't want it to ramp up and then suddenly just go left. It just wouldn't work like that. So there's where it is. So that'll come all the way out to here. And then it'll go straight along here for a bit. Come to about maybe here and then ramp down. And you know what? I think we might actually be able to get the full, including the water along there as well. Because we can bunch, once they get down to ground level, we'll be able to bunch them up. And I need to see, have we got any explosives? I need to see if we can blow up that rock down there. No. Can we remove them rocks? Because ideally I'd like to remove them. No, I don't think we can remove those rocks. It's only small ones I think we can remove. Like these ones over here, maybe? No. I thought you could remove small rocks like that. But you can definitely remove these here, can't you? Yeah. Why did I think that you could remove these here? Unless it's bigger explosives, maybe, you know, like the, there is one you can get. Let me see if I can get it on this one here. Equipment. I don't think we can. Is it Nobelisk or something? Nobelisk. See, it's. I think it's the nuclear one, where it's got bigger explosion. Maybe get rid of this here. I don't know. Again, I need to check that on the wiki. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So what I'm gonna do is, as I said, I'm going to take that platform to wherever it's needed to go and then slope it down, and hopefully we can just bypass this here rock. I'll try and see if I can just get it where the edge of it is just tipping past this here and comes down to maybe here. And then the all them different tracks are going to come along here. Obviously the furthest four will come along there. Now that brings me to the other option. Was it quartz, coal... Quartz, coal. What was the third one? Sulfur, which is up here. So that's the three that's coming along here into the first part, and then the rest of the items are coming up here. Now the last thing I want is to have the oil, coming in and then having a link over here, like crisscross over them. So what will happen is we'll have to make sure that if we're having the different tracks, this one here, the closest to the edge, will be going straight to crude oil, whereas the next four will be going down to the tunnel, and then the other tracks as well, they'll be going to uranium. Oh, wait, that reminds me as well. Nearly forgot about the uranium. There's uranium here in the tunnel, so it means we'll have 5 tracks. 4 tracks will merge into 2 tracks, so we'll have 3 tracks running here, and the third track will terminate here to the uranium into a station. Or what we do is we actually take the uranium via conveyor belt out to here, which is what I done in the last world, my solo world in the last one. Maybe we'll do that. The only thing is that immediately becomes a no-go zone because it's been oh wait, no, she can't even go on the train. The train is is the train? We'll worry about it whenever we get to that stage, but what we'll do is we'll reserve a line in here for uranium when we get to it, and then we'll keep the path here, we'll keep a station here for uranium, and then we'll have the other 4 tracks coming out and doing whatever. We could actually take the uranium straight out here and have it come up and around and join, go parallel with the one coming from the crude oil. So we have 2 tracks coming along here and the other 3 coming along here. So that's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the other 2 is water and... What was the other one? What was on the sheet again? Uranium. Iron we have, copper we have, limestone we have, bauxite, coal, sulfur, raw quartz. Hang on, 11 lines, hold on. We've got 3 lines over here. So that's 3 lines over here, that's sorted. It's the water. So let's count this here out again, right? Because I'm getting a wee bit confused. So we've got quartz and sulfur, that's 2. And coal, that's 3. So that's the 3 coming in here. Line number 4. Line number 5. Line number 6. Line number 7. Line number 8. Line number 9 for uranium. Line number 10 for the water source. Yes. And line number 11 for the iron. I don't know what I missed out there, but yeah, that's pretty much what's coming up through here. So we will have the... We've got 3 there, so we just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you have your 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 7 lines coming up to here. 7 lines coming up here. Through here. And I hope we have enough room to do it. I don't want to be merging stuff together if necessary, but see, what happens is whenever you merge lines together, it means that, you know, you can't have a train on the same line until it splits. But I'd say we probably get away with doing that. We are doing that for the tunnel, so we probably could. If push comes to shove, we'll have... No, like, instead of having 7 lines along here, we'll just have 4. Which will then split out to 8. And go to wherever they need to go. A lot of planning involved in this. But yeah, I feel like a project manager. I suppose this is what it is. It is project managing. Managing the project here. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is as I said, I'm going to build that platform that comes off here and comes down. I'm going to try to see if I can get 7 lines in here. If not, I will bring it. I also need to put that wall coming straight down here as well. If I can't get 7 lines along here, I'll reduce it down to 4. And then when it gets to somewhere a bit wider, they'll split it back out into 8. And go wherever routes they need to go. And that should be it. So that's it for this here episode. Thanks again for watching. If you have any comments or any suggestions at all, do drop it down below or visit Discord channel that is linked in the description. Follow Discord channel for the schedule as well as the information board. There you'll be able to see what games are playing as well as when those games are coming out onto YouTube. If you are enjoying the content, do consider subscribing and drop some like if you enjoy what you see. As you know, it helps show what people are interested in the most. And I'll try and focus on those areas a bit more in the future. But other than that, thanks again for watching. And I will see you in the next one. I would like to give a massive shout out to the channel donators. You help make these videos possible.